punishment when it comes. But welcome to the very fine surroundings of the Royal Marines Museum, where we have gathered to celebrate the work of the Royal Naval Benevolent Trust. The charity traces its roots back to 1916, when Admiral Lord Jellicoe was the Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Fleet, and it was his idea that a fund, the Grand Fleet Fund, be formed to alleviate the suffering caused mainly through poverty to serving and former sailors and Royal Marines, and particularly their dependants. Indeed, the records show that he donated £50 of his own money to start the fund. But even more important is the succession of senior and junior naval ratings and Royal Marines' other ranks who have given so much of their time and energy over the years to help their fellows. But it is the gathering twice a week of a volunteer body of serving and retired, male and female, junior and senior sailors and Royal Marines who make the decisions that last year resulted in just under £2.3 million being directed to help over 4,200 of their peers who had fallen on hard times. Pembroke House and the John Cornwall National Memorial Arms House continue to provide shelter, comfort and care for our beneficiaries, and both are fine examples of quality at the top end of their respective leagues. I've been especially pleased to hear that serving personnel from HMS Chatham and from the Defence Explosive Munitions Search School have helped out at Pembroke House. We welcome such working parties who can be accommodated free of charge at the Royal Engineers School just down the road in Chatham. This is an excellent way to involve the younger junior ratings in the work, and I know that they find the change of scene and the work they do so rewarding. It's also very good news for the residents to see a set of fresh young faces around the place. Chatham used to be a good run ashore, although I'm too young to have been there, and I'd welcome an update from those who are in date. There are many who have committed their efforts and energy to the Trust, both volunteers and staff, over many years, and I thank them all. However, few have given as much time and energy as Peter Swan, who stands down as chairman today, with Rear Admiral Tony Ricks stepping up to the mark.
Our chairman will now take us through the work of the Trust and introduce a variety of other speakers to help tell the RNBT story. Ladies and gentlemen, Commodore Peter Swan.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start this morning, if I may, with a message from our patron, the Prince of Wales. Thank you for your kind message of loyal greetings. I hope that the President and trustees of the Royal Navy Benevolent Trust, gathered together on the occasion of their 88th annual presentation of the Trust, held at the Royal Marines Museum, Eastney, Portsmouth, on Tuesday the 5th of October, have a most enjoyable day. Signed, Charles, Patron. Interestingly, 206 of our cases were to serving personnel. £91,000 were expended on people serving in the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines. Where does our money come from? Firstly, our investments. We have husbanded, invested wisely over the years, and we have in the order of £30 million invested in 2 companies in London. Right, the next one, our principal grant-making charities. Greenwich Hospital, as I mentioned before, we can't do without them. They're absolutely magnificent. We act as their agent, dispersing their funds to the joint beneficiaries. The Royal Navy Royal Marines charity is now responsible for distributing the Greenwich Hospital money to us, and it's something we're very welcome to work with. In addition, Seafarers UK, which used to be called King George V Fund for Sailors, are a major grant maker to us, along with Trinity House, Queen Mary Roehampton, all providing us with financial support. We're very grateful to these block-making charities. We can't cope without you, and thank you very much indeed for helping all those in need and distress. Finally, legacies and donations. We are hugely grateful for those who raise money for the Trust, and you'll see some more today, especially those who remember the RNBT in their wills. And I'd just like to mention something else. Benevolence is not just giving money. Benevolence is looking after old sailors and old Marines, making sure they're all right. And the RNA, and I see we have Admiral McAnally here this morning, the RNA is a magnificent organization, and they take care of a lot of our beneficiaries, not giving them money, but taking them out, buying them a beer, looking after them and taking care of them. Benevolence is taking care, looking after people, not just giving them money. But money is desperately important. And I'd like to introduce you to the Black Cats team. This is Lieutenant Commander Becky Frater, Chief Petty Officer Tools, Petty Officer Gurney, and AET Summers from 702 Squadron. The floor is yours.
We chose it as a team, really. We thought that the Royal Naval Benevolent Trust didn't get the credit it deserved. So we had an ideal opportunity while we went around the UK to not only raise money for this brilliant charity, but also, more importantly, to raise the profile of the charity.
Thank you very much indeed, the Black Cats.
And they've got a check to present to the President.
Before you sit down, do you want to hand over that cheque to the President before you disappear with it? If you could just stay there a second. Another presentation. And also, could I mention Mr. Les and Doreen Hutchins, Mr. and Mrs. Les and Doreen Hutchins, who have raised an enormous amount of money. Les, would you like to come forward? Hard work, dedication to support the Trust. And as you can see from his jacket, he's one of our greatest supporters. Les, thank you very much indeed. £903. Our job is to look after need and to meet need. We will never turn people away, but we have to be realistic and practical. Now, none of this would be possible without our case-working organisations. Massive thanks goes to Sapper Forces Help, the Royal British Legion, the Naval Personnel and Family Services, and the Royal Marine Welfare Organisation, and of course, our own caseworkers.
I've worked for the Trust at Pembroke House for approximately 14 years, and I became Deputy Manager in 2004. Indeed, I've worked with the Royal Naval Benevolent Trust for so long, I feel like part of the family. I've seen a few changes over the years. When I first arrived, Pembroke House was effectively a men's dormitory where old sailors and Royal Marines came to live when they were either no longer able to look after themselves or, in some cases, were just plain lonely and looking for fellowship. Pembroke House is very much a home, although in many ways it's like a ship in dry dock. There is a wide end and a narrower end, and a galley, cabins, a bar and a bridge. The home overlooks the River Medway and flies the White End sign. We enjoy good food, a drink and a good laugh. All our residents have a story to tell, most of which are outside our own experiences. They were all heroes of their day and deserve the love and care provided by the RNBT as they enjoy their twilight years. Come up for a chat afterwards and enjoy their company. Let me close by saying that I would like you to take away the thought that Pembroke House is not an old people's home. It is a home where older people live, and we are proud to be part of the RNBT family. Thank you.
Thank you. Look, and I want to kind of just look ahead a little bit. The Trust will only continue to operate if we have input from our serving personnel and our early retired. We need our volunteers, as we mentioned before. Please don't be shy to come along and help us. The more money that you put into the RNBT, the more we can do and the more people we can help. We also need to work with other charities as closely as we possibly can. We need to link with other charities who have similar aims and ambitions. As I look back on my time in the organisation, 88 years we've been going, that is the joy of the RNBT. 88 years of doing good, of helping people, and that is quite an achievement. We're going to have to do it for at least another 88 years.
Now, a feature of the Trust is that once staff and volunteers come on board, they tend to stay for a long time. The Trust formally recognises volunteers after 10 years' service and members of staff after 15. Other than our sincere thanks and the personal satisfaction of a job well done, long service is marked by the presentation of a certificate and some rather attractive engraved glassware.
Peter Swan took on the role of President of the Trust in October 2004 at the behest of the then First Sea Lord, and grasping the nettle without hesitation in a style that is classic Peter, as all those who know him will recognise. As it turned out, the Trust got a very good deal indeed. He remains deeply involved with charity work, even though he is stepping down from the RNBT after 6 years of hard work, and selflessly giving of his time and his talent to help those less fortunate than himself. In short, the true definition of charity, as most of us will recognise it. I know that Peter leaves with a heavy heart because he believes passionately in benevolence, and his love of the Navy and its people is only exceeded by his love for his wife Suki. Sadly, I don't think she's going to get here in time today, but she might. Suki's long-standing support has been of immeasurable value to the Trust, albeit rather more quietly delivered than Peter's unique and very special style. So Peter, thank you for all that you've done for the RNBT over 6 years of selfless commitment, and please accept a small gift which I hope the Commander-in-Chief will be able to give you, and it'll match the decanter that already enjoys pride of place in your drawing room.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Get out of the way of this one. As we bid farewell to Peter, may I welcome Rear Admiral Tony Ricks, who will now take on the role of the new chairman of the Royal Naval Benevolent Trust. Tony left the Navy last December, and I know he's looking forward to assuming the responsibility and looking to build on Peter's successes. Ladies and gentlemen, Commodore Peter Swan and Rear Admiral Tony Ricks. Where is he? Come on up. Good to see you. Well done, team. Good.